So thank you for joining me on this Zoom. So kind of talk about, first, like how are you doing and where exactly are you in Israel?
Thank God I'm really doing okay. I'm in Herzliya, which is slightly north of Tel Aviv, central Israel. Thank God we've had a lot of sirens here and some rockets have fallen here, but where I am, we are safe.
And then you mentioned rockets have fallen. I mean, have you like heard any like blasts or anything? Have you seen anything or people talk? Like, what are people saying?
Yeah, so every time a siren goes off, and we go down to the safe room. I have one in my building. We can hear a lot of times we can hear the missile interceptions. Israel has an Iron Dome system, which and also some other technologies, which it actually intercept the missiles as they enter Israeli airspace, and it actually blows up the missile in the air so that it doesn't hit any of the buildings, which keeps our citizens safe. So we can a lot of times hear those explosions. And unfortunately, also we hear the explosions of the missiles. Some fall and do hit buildings or they fall into open space, but you can definitely hear those. And that is very loud. Just last week, we had a rocket fall in my city of Herzliya, and it was very loud when we heard it. It wasn't so close to where exactly where I live. So none of like our windows were blown out, but I've heard friends who their rockets have fallen in Tel Aviv and all of their windows are blown out and a lot of damage is done not only to the building where it hits, but also to the surrounding buildings on the blocks.
Well, and then how often are you hearing either the missiles get intercepted or just missiles striking the ground? How is that like every hour? How
So it really depends where you live in the country and also has changed over the past week and a half. Where I live, we've had sirens a few every day, and we've had the missiles come every day. Mostly during the middle of the night, we're woken up by alerts on our phones. And there's also a real siren outside that you can hear that warns you that there's missiles incoming. And yeah, where I live, every day we've had since last Thursday, the beginning of the Iran attacks.
And then also kind of talk about just the conditions right now there. I know you said thankfully where you are, there haven't been as many strikes. But yeah, how is it overall just in terms of the conditions?
So I'll say there's a real balance between normalcy and also we're just in a state of no routine and schools are closed. Anything that's not essential is closed. So basically only supermarkets, hospitals, pharmacies are open right now, and that is also changing day to day. This all started last Thursday night when there were talks of these attacks beginning. We were woken up in the middle of the night to a very loud sound on our phones at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's like a warning sign. It's kind of like maybe like a hurricane alert or amber alert that you might get on your phone, but it woke us up at 3 in the morning. We did not know what was going on. And they said, prepare for something. Attacks have begun. And from there, we were just kind of in this uncertain place where we had to determine what was going to happen next. And all of the sirens have been going off since and the daily rocket attacks. So, yeah, I mean, we have every week Shabbat in Jewish tradition. And last Friday, the whole day we were preparing for Shabbat. It could almost feel like a normal Friday. But there's tension in the air, but also resilience in the air. We're a very strong, and there's a lot of faith in God and in our army that will keep us safe. And everyone is focusing on so much gratitude for what we have and also holding what is lost, and the deaths and the terror is horrible. But as a people, we must focus also on the positive and laughing through it. There have been so many memes and reels going around in social media just to keep spirits high. And it's just amazing to me to see also the amount of people who are trying to come home back to Israel. Right now, the airspace is closed, but there are rescue flights for all of the Israelis who were traveling outside of Israel at the time of the attacks, who are just waiting to come home, even though they will be returning to a war zone, which we have been since October 7th of 2023, but of heightened right now because of the Iran attacks. However, everyone who's outside is just waiting to come home.
Yeah, and that was going to be kind of my next question. I mean, you seem just very just like calm about everything. Just honestly kind of just stress free. Why is that? Because, I can only imagine how others like if I was there, I would be, a little nervous, but you seem very just at ease.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, everybody really reacts differently, and the fear and the being scared is totally normal and it's totally valid. And I will say there is fear, but like I said before, there's resilience and faith in the army and in God and in each other that we'll really get through this. And I think that that's just something that's carrying us through. That the fear, it doesn't always help us in the moment, but what can we do and how can we take action and how can we react? I think that's part of what helps get us through it.
Awesome, very well said. And just overall, how are people just staying safe there? I know you did mention bunkers as well.
Yeah, so it really depends where you live. Some people have some people have in their houses a safe room, which is like a double reinforced concrete wall through the whole room, and that goes through the whole building. And some people have a uh, safe room in the bottom of the building, like underground. And I can try to send you a video of that also, of what mine looks like in my building. But some buildings have those, some buildings have in your actual apartment or your house, and some buildings don't have a safe room at all. And so you'll see there's people who actually have to leave their building and travel, like run across the street during these sirens to get safety. There's like communal bunkers underground. In Tel Aviv, there's a lot of people who are in the subway lines because those are underground. So people are sleeping there in parking lots, underground parking garages of the malls that are reinforced so that they will be in a safe spot. And people are really just sleeping there and doing what they need to do to keep safe. Yeah. I mean, the most important for me, like I said, that the fear and the scared feeling is totally normal, but carrying that also with the positivity and gratitude and seeing the miracles before our eyes every day is just as important. And it is scary. I mean, it's not normal that there's daily ballistic missiles being fired at us, but it is something that we are just dealing with the best that we can. And a lot of my friends have been called up to reserve duty in the army, and everyone is just sacrificing what they need to sacrifice in order to keep everyone safe.
And when you say miracles, what's a miracle that you've seen?
I mean, even just the interception system that we have is incredible. How many civilian deaths we would have if we didn't have that is just unfathomable. It really is. And I mean, the other day, I'm not sure if you have seen this, but the other day, a civilian hospital in Beersheba was hit, direct hit. A ballistic missile directly hit the hospital under, and not a single person was injured in that hit. That is a miracle right there. I mean, sometimes it's just about opening our eyes to what we really do have. And I mean, they took the protocols that they needed to take, but thank God that they did that. I do know some people who were there at the time, and the explosions were insane, but not nobody was killed or injured.
Thanks a lot for watching. I'm Joel D. Smith. Make sure that you subscribe to our CBS 21 YouTube page and set those notifications to catch many more videos like this.